It's PT and Tier might be dancing with each other. Let's see how it goes.
Yes.
Two guys at a party start staring at each other. What are you looking at? And everybody's like, hey, man. Calm down.
I want to jump on out.
They're all in here.
What am I doing?
We were just sending you that invite so that you could get in here whenever the race was over, remember?
Okay.
Yeah, you could just stand by. Go get your room ready and stand by.
Yeah, cool.
No problem.
Chunky, go ahead and back out and come back in.
All right. He's jumping out and back in. We'll let him sort that out before we do anything else. Qualifying schedule. I thought that was a pretty... We refined that pretty well, Warren. Thought it worked out pretty quick.
It's getting shorter and shorter each weekend.
Yeah. Just tweaking it. It was so much... That was the thing on GT6. You could run the simultaneous qualifier and it would just ghost everybody else on the track. You'd be out there by yourself, but we'd all be running at the same time, so it saved a lot of time. No such luck. Yeah, there'd be line. You could see their line or something. That's why we always joke with each other. Rita quit drafting me in qualifying because their line would be right on. Like there was some drive, like me and J Vic for years, we ran the same line at every track, and that's why we always were right on top of each other. And even in qualifying, we would admit to each other that we would follow. If one of us qualified badly, the other one did, because we would follow each other's lines because we were so used to running the same way. So if one of us was off, the other one was off too. And we weren't even teammates. All right, I think we got all 15. You got ears on everybody. Nobody's got the mute symbol, anything like that? Beef still got it? Okay. PT, you're okay? Just flash the thumb a couple times if you're good. Nobody can... He's good. Okay, Chunky, go ahead and back her out and restart your game. Come back in. Well, both of you might as well do that. One thing I was going to say I've been meaning to do, I got to get the win list, career stat stuff on the main page updated. I've just been having so much trouble with the computer. With the multi-classes now, we've got, a lot of winners and a lot of records that'll be, the all-time win list, which was done in single-class days, is, you got guys like Tier and Sir Race a lot and whatnot that are, myself, Hossack, Barron soon creeping up on that. So I'd want to have it up to date. Hoping to get that done in the Hall of Fame page done. While they're sorting out, we can give you guys a little, I guess, on the big spots here to watch. And if you're looking at the map up there in the corner, it's 9 turns. Basically, we'll say turn 1, the red section, you got turn 1's the left-hander, then you got the carousel. Then you got turn 3, which is the left-hander there. That little trigger of the gun, Johnny's always called that right turn ridge. And then when you come back down into sector 2 there, and you make 3, 4, turn 5, that little wheel hop area there, turn 6, 7 complex, we always called that wheel hop ridge. And then you've got the sweeper there. You'll hear us call it the sweeper. You'll hear them call it turn 8 and 9. Your main trouble spots are turn 1, turn 3, Not so much on the Project Cars version in Wheel Hop Ridge. It's not that bad. But Warren pointed something out yesterday, which was a good point. He's like, there's two lines there through right turn ridge in the hammer of the gun. You got the guys that take it real wide to the left and hold it all the way against the dirt pretty much. And then you got the guys who, kind of sweep the corner. He was basically saying that if you're trailing a guy who's taking it wide, and I'm not usually one who takes it wide, so I knew exactly what he was talking about. If you're not right on their tail heading into that right turn ridge, they're not going to be able to see you at all from the outside. They're going to turn down and hit you. And so the late break on a guy on the outside there to the inside is very risky. If you're right on top of them coming through turn 3, though, all bets are off, because then they have plenty of, you're right on their tail. They have plenty of time to see you. You should be able to get up to their door, on the inside if you've made the pass right. So just basically don't, it's going to be a hell of a lot like a dive bomb there if you're 3 car lengths back and he goes wide and you stab the brake, because you're not going to make that corner on the inside without sweeping out a little. And more than likely, you're going to push him right off into the dirt. So that's one of the main ones. Same thing in the turn 8, 9, and the sweeper. Jump in if I'm mispronounce or interpreting what you were saying, Warren. But once again, it's a 2-line section. If you're on the inside, by the time you get through 9, you're going to have to sweep out to hold the track. If you're on the outside, you got to be aware that person's in there. Communication's the best way to do it. If you're on the inside, and this happened to me many times in the IndyCar race last night, you just had to, let up and hold that inside. Half the time, the guy's going to go sweeping into the dirt anyway and give it to you. So just be careful in those spots. That was where we have seen trouble in the past here. Warren, Rita, you got anything to add to that? One at a time, guys. All right, I'll take that as a no. The one thing we did want to explain to you before we get down to the nitty-gritty, I don't want to take up too much of your time, but when we have mid-season changes and stuff like the cars, wanted to give you guys the brief explanation on that kind of thing. And it goes back to stuff we've done in years past when we were developing the Camel GT Series and then eventually running it. 3 different modes of officiating it went along. Now, the old guard SCL officials are all, for the keep it simple, stupid school. And it basically means that if there's any question as to what's fair and what's not, they'll tell you go to one make. And so we started out doing a lot of that. Now, eventually, at first you had you start a way where you have cars that are, you're locked into your manufacturer. Pick your car, and that's what you got for the season. That doesn't work, because as soon as one car shows something, people start dropping out. So then we went to where you could switch your manufacturer, and any car was available. Now, the problem with that is that basically makes it a one-make series, because what'll happen is, I don't remember exactly the details, but in one of the classes in GT6, might have been GT3, I can't remember if it was the BMW or some car, proved to kick ass, and next thing you know, everyone's in a BMW, and it's pretty much a BMW one-make series, and we might as well have had it one-make. So as far as being able to invoke Rule 1-9 and making changes, mid-season like that, the method behind it is that, the technical director and the competition director came forward, that's Warren and Twindy. Before the season, we knew through tech testing that this might be something we see, this might be something we see. When we got everybody out there and confirmed it a little more in testing, the reason we want to make those calls mid-season is so we don't see one of the first 2 scenarios. You don't want guys getting discouraged and dropping out because they used their car change already and they can't do anything about it. And we don't want it to just be a one-make, because the truth is, as officials, if that's the way it was going to be, we would just go ahead and make it one make per class. We'd tell you this is the car you're running if you're in GT3. This is the car. That would just be simpler for us. So all we're asking, I'm not saying that I wouldn't be upset if I had plans for a car that went out, because I believe me, we do a lot of testing and we know how that goes. But we're just asking you bear with us, because if you guys want to have multiple makes and you want to have multiple classes, you got to roll with the punches. And there's motorsports precedence for it. Google the fan car history of ground effects, wings. Adjustments are always being made. And at the end of the season, when we're doing some of the official tech testing, you're more than welcome to come in there and give us pointers of the stuff that you guys figure out when you're testing the cars, and we can help set up, it can help us with the classifications and all that in the next season. But we just ask that you bear with us while we sort our way through it. We feel like GTE is pretty much down to scratch. GT3 is a little newer. We're working on it. But yeah, just bear with us, guys. Other than that, as far as tonight's race goes, this is the California Grand Prix. Sit down, boy. This is the California Grand Prix. It's round 2 of the SCL Season 24 Camel GT Series. This is somewhere along the lines of the 11th or 12th running of this event. We've got a lot of former winners in here. I'm going to read you guys your starting order after I give you the rundown. We will be doing the one parade lap, and then we will come on into the pits, make your strategy stop. You'll come back out. You'll get single file in the order that you that you're scheduled to start. The P2s and the GTs will start in 2 separate groups. Yes, the GTEs and the GT3s are together. The P2s will be about 7 to 10 seconds in front of them. Excuse me. We will do a minimum of 2 more parade laps after we come out after the strategy stop. Try to get some heat in the tires for you guys. On the initial start of the race, the P2s will call it at the line, and then the GTs will call it when they get to the line. The remainder of the race on restarts, they will be simultaneous. More than likely, the GT cars will be somewhere in the sweeper when the green comes out. So keep that in mind.
Can I interrupt you real quick?
Yeah.
So since PT's got pole for the GTE's Pro Gar, you're going to be the one calling it since you start second. Oh, what PT doesn't have mic, right?
Yeah.
Correct.
Yeah, we'll get. Yeah, I'm sure Progar is good with that.
Yeah.
Thanks.
What I'll do with PT is I'll probably just edge out a little bit so I can see him. So I won't be directly behind him, but I'll still be behind him.
Yeah, you can also use the map up in the corner when he hits the line. You can call it like that too. Anywho, yeah, we will go out. We'll do a minimum of 2 parade laps after we come out. We'll call the greens there. We're going with a higher flag limit tonight because of the tightness of this track and because you guys have been racing so well. We haven't really had a whole lot of incidents. So the flag limit's going to be a straight 9. If we reach that, if we actually reach that this week, though, I can guarantee it'll be lower than that next week. So we're hoping we don't get that way. Last night in IndyCar, we got to 6, but that was 5 of them came off of a series of blown restarts. Other than that, the race was all green. So we would expect to see kind of a similar thing here tonight. The caution rules are the standard. It must be a 2-car incident. It must be a full wreck, a little off in the dirt. Especially here, if you get pushed way off in the dirt and you still got the car straight, you can get it back on the track. Green. If it's a full-on spin wreck, then yeah, we'll have a caution. Be very careful on the merge. You are responsible for your merge back onto the track. Other cars, obviously give a guy a bit of a break if he's trying to get on, give him enough room to try to get on. But technically, they're at race speed. So you got to, if there's a line of cars and there's no gap, well, you're waiting until the end of the line. So just be careful with all that. When the caution comes out, you will back it down, and there be 2 pace cars in essence, the 2 leaders. You're still mixing up. We're going to mix up the GTs and the GT cars, right, Warren? Okay. So basically it's the leader of the P2s. The P2 cars will go through and get to their leader. The GT cars will line up in the order that they are. So more sixth place in essence is going to be the leader of the GT cars. If you're a GT3, GTE, you're going to be all mixed together if that's the way it works out. I'm going to give the Napoleon speech now, Rita. You are if you are lapped down when the caution comes out, there are no wave arounds on the road courses. So what that means is that if you're right in front of you're right in front of the GT leader and the caution comes out, well, obviously you're going all the way around, you're staying on that lap. If you happen to be behind him when the caution comes out, then you're a lap down. That's just the way, we had a big thing about it last season and the driver got upset about it, but the fact of the matter is that that's just racing. Things you can do about it, I mean, obviously stay it out long enough. If you do get under the yellow, you're all mixed up, you're a lap down. You can choose not to pit, under the yellow if the pit's open, and then you will cycle up and be the pace car in essence. So you'll be ahead of the leader on the restart, and then you stay ahead of the leader. Another yellow comes out, you'd be going back around. You see what I'm saying? That's always a possibility. When that happens, we need that to be called out. There will be marshals back there in the GTs like Warren and Rita who will see it and say, okay, if Rita's the leader and Warren's second and Super is a lap down car or whatever, we'll know, and they both pit, we'll know he's leading. He's the GT pace car at this point. But other.
Well, it's technically also you catch up to the leader of your class, because what you pretty much said is, let's say the GTE leader passes you, you're a GT3.
Oh, so you do want to. All right, so you do want to run them into. You want to run them back to their group and then back together as GTs.
Yeah, because then you're gonna screw the GT.
I got you. That's no problem. I mean, that's why I was spitting it out that way. So yeah, you're gonna run to the leader of your class. Your class leader is your pace car. Basically, what that means is when the yellow comes out, you ignore all the other cars. You keep driving until you get to your group. The GTs will be grouped together, though.
The lead car in a given class needs to slow down.
Yeah, the lead car in a given class slows down under the yellow, and then everybody else catches up to them. And we will open the pits under yellow as soon as an official, as soon as a leader in a class can confirm that the pit lane is clear, meaning that Rita and Warren know what I'm talking about. Basically meaning that you're coming down the sweeper, as long as you can see there's no lap down traffic that's still catching up, that when you say open the pits, they can't just suddenly dive in. That'll give them an advantage. So once you see that the pits are clear, we're going to open them. So, it could be, it could be called kind of abruptly. So be ready for it. But there's.
If first place goes by it, don't open it. Because I know there was a bit of an issue with that last time, where 3 cars were past it and then it didn't open.
They weren't past it, Taylor.
Yeah.
I'm sorry?
They were not past it.
Oh, okay, I'm sorry.
No, I know.
I heard.
No, actually, actually, what happened in that situation? What happened in that situation was I was the leader and I opened it right at the end there. I was in second and opened it right at the end, so it did catch the guy a little off, but it was just because I'm not going to try to. I personally won't try to call it that late. We'll go around again if we have to, but technically they can, as soon as they see it's clear, they can open it. The officials will try to give as much room as possible. Real quick. All right, guys, I guess we're just about set to go. So it's all clear. Everybody's got their thumbs up. Yeah, you will run back to your leader, to your class leader. If we do not hit the 9 flag limit, then the final 5 minutes are the green to the finish automatically. I could read your starting order one more time. The LMP2s, we've got Baron von Stosch for Apex on the pole. Chunky for Renaissance Racing second. Carlin Hicks in the Sunday Cup League account for JME's third. Hossack for Apex is fourth, the defending race winner here. And Kick-Ass Wookie makes his Camel GT debut starting in the 5th spot. In the GTE class, starting 6th overall, pole sitter in the class is It's PT for Benson Speed Equipment. Starting 7th overall is Progar for, who are you with now, Progar? Wacky Racers? Yeah, Wacky Racers, okay. Starting 6th, 7th. 8th overall will be Daz in the Team Danamore GTE. Starting 9th will be the Zebra in the Benson Speed Equipment car. And starting 10th will be Rita in the JME Motorsports Corvette. Starting 11th, the GT3 pole sitter is Tiernizzel in the Apex car. Starting 12th is O'Brien in the JME Motorsports car. 13th will be Cat Guy in the TOW Racing GT3. 14th will be Warren Kyle Keith, former Camel GT champion in the Sega Keith Motorsports entry. And 15th will be Super 8 in the Renaissance Racing entry. You guys are all set. I think we're good to go. Make sure my little man's not killing himself. What are you doing over there, boy? Oh, that's right. Wookie is with Team Danamore. Sorry. I can't keep track of all this stuff. All right, guys. Best of luck to you. Get your pit stops and strategies and all that set. Hopefully I didn't accidentally leave a 2.5 hour qualifier or something. So it gets a little convoluted under the caution with the multi-classes, I know, but just remember you're racing. When the caution comes out, it's like there's no other cars but your class on the track. Just go to your class leader, just like you were under yellow in a single class race. The best way to not have long delays in a multi-class yellow is not to have a lot of full course yellows. And these cars it's going to be tight here, so obviously you guys know the drill. P2s, be careful. You know, slower cars, leave them a little room, use some sense. You don't want to get caught in the corner, whatever class you're in. Whatever class you happen to be in, you don't want to be going side by side in a corner with another class car. It's just going to slow you down. So if I was in a GT3 or something, I would breathe it if you're side by side. Let that other one go by and then line it up. It'll be quicker for you in the long haul for sure. But you guys have all done good this season. Yes, you're correct. But when the yellow comes out, they're just getting back to their class leader first. And then once we get ready to restart, they can all, conglomerate. All right, 30 seconds, guys. Waiting on Super Rita PT. 23 seconds. That's a good question for Warren there.
Now,
Oh,
you're gonna have to Bob back
2 seconds.
2 seconds. All right, guys, lined up in your starting order. Just get it fixed. Just get her lined up. Bring him back up when he's clear. Meanwhile, get your strategies ready. Make sure you don't hit swap driver. Not using that in this race.
Okay, confirm. Box now. We'll be ready for you when you get here.
Keep working on it. If we can, we haven't taken the green. We can do a retire to pit box if we need to. All right, going back to the pit box, guys. Retire to the box. Don't exit the room. Yeah.
Start your wheel, then restart your wheel.
Yeah, you have to shut off your system, and then the first thing you log on with has to be your wheel.
Go ahead and go. You're holding up the room. Well, I don't like having a delay, but I'm glad I can use the bathroom. So just hang on a minute, guys. Sorry.
What happened? Somebody disconnected.
Got a problem with Chunky's wheel. It wasn't working. So it looks like he probably restarted the game with his joypad or something like that when he was trying to sort out his disconnect problems.
Yeah, happens to me by invite before I actually fire up the game. It won't recognize the wheel.
Yeah, no, I think that's an easy mistake to make when you're trying to be quick. And it's different for Thrustmaster and G29 as well, though. They seem to have different quirks.
Yeah.
I think G29 guys have to turn joypads off, don't you? Is that right?
What?
I think G29 guys, don't you have to turn your joypads off when you're racing?
Yes. What I do is, before I even get my game booted up, I go to settings, turn off my controller, then I boot up the game with my wheel. I never have my controller on when I'm doing this.
I don't put my controller on for that reason.
Yeah, for some reason Thrustmaster's fine with both being switched on. I don't know why. It's the weirdness.
Only SMS doesn't like G29s.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, there's more buttons on them, I suppose, so you don't really need the controller. Thrustmasters, well, mine hasn't got as many buttons, so I need the controller, otherwise I can't. Browsing menus and stuff there's no square.
I got everything I need on mine.
Yeah, I'm just short a few buttons on my T300.
It's happy that you're able to map the buttons on, like, say, the Crew 2, where it's a set thing of buttons, because my paddle shifters don't, my upshift on my paddles don't work, so I had to switch it.
All right, how are we looking?
In fact, hey Chunky, did you go into options and make sure your wheel was highlighted?
Just do a quick check, make sure you can browse up and down with your wheel.
Well, that's your one reset, so let's hope it holds up. Everybody remember their starting order fine. Make a double check, make sure you're still in the right car. Didn't reset you or nothing. Let's make sure you got what you need. I'm going to make sure that we got what we need on here, just in case anything silly happened with that. Alright, I think we're good, guys. I'd make sure your wheel's moving before you even do that, Chunky.
Turn your controller on while you're in this game. The controller will take priority over the steering wheel.
Yeah.
Then you'll be mowing the lawn.
Pretty much. Yeah, we got to give that shout out one more time. Wookie making his Camel GT debut tonight. Wookie the rookie, newly signed to Team Dana Moore.
Thank you very much. Me and Rita had a close one. Very close.
And Rita took the then open spot in the GTEs. The way that works, guys, is it goes first alternate from LMP2, GTE, GT3, then the second alternate across those classes. That's how the open spots are filled when they're available. All right, guys, get her readied up. You guys know the drill. Good luck tonight. Been running this weekend since season 12. When I first started was the first time they came here. There's always been 3 races here. Just depends. Different classes have come and gone. Winston Cup's been the steady. Camel GT's been steady since it started up. This race has gone a lot of wild ways, and this is a new one with 3 classes on the track. We had 2 classes last season. Like we said, just be patient with each other. We should have a good race. He had a great run. He was the pole sitter last night and finished 3rd. Alright guys, rolling it around, getting your starting position. Oh, that's too bad for him. Because we already did 1 reset for him.
Halfway behind.
And now he's back. Oh, Lord. Your call, Warren. Yeah, I gotcha. Sorry, Chunky. You can get into the GT World Challenge race. You message the Muttley, let him know. But we already used your reset. I'd say about 60. Alright, we're heading into the box, guys.
Roger, box is loud.
Well, you don't have a girl for a team manager, so I had to pick something that had a little more color to it. I wear all black clothing. So, all right, guys, heading into the box. I feel bad for Chunky, but them's the brakes. Yeah, as far as the light flashing too, guys, yeah, you can do it to cars of the other classes, but not to your own.
Okay, you're clear. Go!
Yeah, we got a couple of pace laps, guys. No worries. Today, but we've seen others. Yeah, I'll say also over here, if Muttley's watching, you're clear to go, Muttley. Take those little challenge cars, try to get chunky beef in there. You did not make inspection. Yep. How are we looking back there? You're all clear, Warren? 'Cause we're good up here and ready to go. All right. We clear back there? Okay. All right, Baron, the call is yours. Kogar, the call will be yours in the GTEs. That's fine.
maintain. Got your work. Second sector, that's the best time so far.
Inside, Dash.
Just set your own personal best fastest lap. Keep it up. Your pace is good. Keep that up. Keep it up.
Inside, Super.
Your wide, left side. You're clear. Left side. You're clear. Stay sharp now. The leader is lapping the back markers. The blue flag to help you get through. Take any opportunity to get past him. Car left. You're clear. One on your left. You're clear. One right. You're clear. Two lanes back. One lane back. Two lanes behind. No risk needed with this back marker. Just get on past it.
Outside, Rita. Outside, Bulldog.
One on your right. clear.
Thank you, guys.
Great driving. That's the fastest final sector so far. Your pace is steady, but we need a bit more now. See what you can pull out
Left
of it.
side's even.
Too wide. Right side. You're clear. Traffic up ahead. It's a fast marker. Stay sharp and take it.
Inside, PT.
Keep your legs back. One leg behind. Keep your legs back.
the right side, man.
Left side. You're clear. back markers. Blue flag will be out. Look for any chance to take the lead if you get caught up.
To your right, guys.
On your left. You're clear. Great driving, mate. Hey, you guys are about to lap a back marker. Blue flag will be out, but keep one of the sanctioning by far.
Left side, Will.
On your right. You're clear. Take first place.
Right side, Bulldog. Thanks, sir.
You're approaching your back marker,
Left
so if the
side,
leader
Warren.
hesitates the least little bit, use the pressure and get past him.
Left side, Zebra.
Right side. You're clear. Coming up on a back marker. The leader makes a mistake. Nail him.
Right side, PT. Oh yeah, it's been great. You've been ace in the traffic, man.
Good work. That's the best final sector of anybody today. Your pace is steady and consistent. You just need a bit more now. Come on, dig deep.
Left side, Ryan. No worries.
You're approaching the back marker. The leader hesitates. It's a great opportunity to get on his tail and take the lead. Car on your right. Watch your mirrors. Two legs back.
Right side, right side.
One left. You're clear. Okay, we've got some pressure coming from behind. Start thinking about the phone. 1 second. Try and extend the gap.
Right side, Daz.
Left side.
Shit. Touch it, I'm sorry. Did I touch you? That was my fault. Glad you caught it. Right side, Suter. Right side, Rita.
Left side. You're clear.
Sorry, Rita. My fault. I tried to flash the light, but I was missing it with my thumb. Probably about 10. I got you.
Left. You're clear.
Set's coming in. Got a bad set. Left side line. And there's a lot of dirt accumulating on the track. Just like last night. By the last half of the race, the track was like ice capades. You guys have been busy.
P2 is 5 seconds behind you. Let's keep it there.
Left side, Zebra.
Good stuff. You're fastest in sector 1. That's the fastest lap of the race. 3 laps. You're about to pass the back marker. Let's keep it clean. No risk.
Going right side, Brian.
West. You're clear.
Right side, that guy. What's that? Yeah, I'll give you the. I'm not trying to ride up on you though.
Okay, you're coming up on a back marker.
Going left side, PT. Left side. Right side's here. Oh, left side.
He's on your right.
I'll let you make the corner there. Yeah, I didn't want to ride up on you. What grass are you talking
Keep it
about?
clean. No risk.
Right side, Dennis.
Car on your left. You're clear.
Dennis had the drive of the night last night in IndyCar. Went from 15, starting shotgun on the field all the way up into the podium spot, and got into some trouble at the end. Who'd we lose? Oh, we got 13. Okay, yeah, he probably parked it in the pits. Take the points.
Great stuff. Best first sector time so far. Pit request confirmed. Pit anytime.
What are you doing over there, boy? Your pit crew's slow. Tell them what's up. Man, no kidding.
All done. Off you go.
Left side, zebra. Left side, zebra.
Right side. You're clear.
Right side. side, PT.
Car left. You're clear.
You go left, guys. I was gonna go left, but okay. I didn't send you off, did I? Sorry. Left side, Warren. About halfway, guys. Great racing so far. Let's see if we can go caution free. Sorry, I didn't say that.
Traffic up ahead. Just about mark 30, 50 to Prix flag. Stay out of your way. Just slide on past.
You go left, Rita. Thank you, man.
without losing any time.
Left side, Pedro.
Right side. You're clear.
Right side.
Left side. You're clear. Left side. You're clear.
Last season at Laguna Seca, I came up on tier and Sir Race a lot in the GTEs. 4 laps later, I was like, still can't figure out. Might as well just pit. They were too close to do anything. Right side, zebra. We lost somebody. No, we lost one. We're down to 12. Left side, Pro Guard. Shit. That's okay.
Back marker ahead. No drama. Get on my team.
Left here.
Right side. You're clear. One left. You're clear. Back marker up ahead. Stay sharp. Take it nice and easy. Don't get squeezed to the side of the track.
Left side PT. Oh, you were going left anyway, so.
You're clear. All right. You're clear. back, Marcus. We don't need any drama here. Let's keep it focused.
Caution's out, caution's out, caution's out. Son of a bitch. Alright. Back her down, guys. Pits are closed. Pits are still closed, guys. P2 leaders on the front stretch.
Two lengths behind. One length behind. Still one length back. Think about defending from that guy behind. Still one length back. One back still.
Alright, one of you guys can
Two lengths behind.
call them whenever. Whenever you see it's clear.
One length back. Half length back. One length behind.
Yes. Yes. Go to your class leader. Alright, so can we open them?
Two lengths back.
Alright, pits are open.
Pit confirmed. We're setting up for that now. One length back.
Hopping it over the hill at 85 miles an hour. Hold it at least 75 or shorter.
Two lengths back. Still there.
No, it was a good run.
Still two lengths back. One length behind.
Alright guys, pits are open. Pits are open. That was caution one.
Two lengths behind.
I hold it about 70. Wookie, good job. Yep. First time leading a race, I believe. we looking back there? Looks like we're going one more time by.
One lane back. Half lane back. One lane behind. Watch your mirrors.
Yeah. Alright, be next time by. You know, Brian, you're not supposed to take a bathroom break during a pit stop, right? Yeah, exactly. Great run, let's keep it that way. Yeah. We're getting down to the nitty-gritty here in the California Grand Prix Season 24. I can see that kick-ass Wookie leads the P2s, it's PTs in the lead of the GTs. Can't see farther down than that. Two Nizzle. Yeah. 33 minutes to go. Alright, field's yours, Wookie. Yeah, you were. Sorry, Baird, I'm fighting. I made contact with him there. Right side, right side.
Still there. You're clear. Two lanes back. Two lanes back. One lane back. Half lane behind. One lane back. Back.
Yeah, when they're cold and old, you ain't supposed to be bold. gonna take longer since you cured them. But that wasn't a bad gamble, to be honest with you. Not here. Going left, O'Brien.
You're about the latter back marker. Let's not make a meal of it.
Left side, Cat.
On your right. You're clear.
Going right.
Left side. You're clear. Okay, you've got some back markers ahead. You're about
Going left to you, Rita.
Get past
That's what I meant. Well, you're going that far to the right, I'm going left. I have found in practice sessions when I run into one of the GT cars, going right side, guys. When I run in one of the GT cars, I have LMP-itis. I'm not used to looking behind me,
You're wide.
and
Left
so
side.
it throws me off to be doing that. You appreciate how tough it is for those guys. Going left, Zebra.
Car right. You're clear.
Going right, PT.
Car on your left. You're clear.
Keep an eye on it. You know what to do. Yeah, just let him see if it flattens out again, but I'll have to send him in the pits or something if he keeps doing it. Hopefully it'll smooth out. I'm gonna go outside, O'Brien. Shit. No, it's all right. Still green, guys. Still green. Still green.
Your lap times are dropping. Let's get back on it. Come on, push hard. You can do it.
Right, that guy.
20 minutes remaining.
corners here. You're there. I'll go to your left when you catch it. Where'd you go? Oh, okay. I just wanted to make sure it wasn't server messing with you. Rita.
Right side. You're clear. There's some traffic ahead. Not expect that market.
Go on your left, guys.
Okay, your pace is good. We just need to open the gap a second. Let's push a little harder.
Right side, program, right side, right. Oh, shit. Guys. Going to your right, Cat. Watch it in the right turn ridge. Cars around. Solo and right turn ridge. Going right, O'Brien.
Watch out for the twisty one. Keep it clean and slide fast.
I'm going to go to the left, Rita. Going right, guys.
Seven minutes remaining.
Going left, Rogar. Alright, green to the finish, guys. Green to the finish. No more you-know-what's-its.
You're about to lap the back marker. You really want to get past here with minimal fuss.
Going left, PG.
You're clear. 1 lane behind. 4 minutes to go.
Going right.
On your left.
Well done, guys.
Okay, let's take this back marker. Nice and clean now, no risk.
Going to your right, Cat. right too.
Left side. Clear.
One go to your right.
He's on your right. You're clear. Last lap now, mate. Stay focused. Just keep it clean and tidy all the way to the flag. Track marker ahead. You're about to lap it. Get past quickly.
Going to your right, O'Brien.
Car on your left. You're clear.
Yeah, good run. Let's let them finish up, and then we'll... it was a great race. Everybody deserves a pat on the back for that one. One yellow. I mean, what more can you ask for?
You've won the race. Fantastic drive.
All right, congrats to PT and Tiernizzle also taken, I believe. I think that's PT's first Camel GT win, isn't it? He's got one. I don't remember. I believe. He might have. I know Callie did. And yeah, I'm gonna get him too. Screenshots. But really awesome on a track like this to do that well, guys. Just a few dust ups. Good job. You got your shots, Rita? Yeah, it was a good race, guys. Good battles all the way up and down to the field.
The one yellow streaked me right up the backside, but apart from that, it's a great race. Came at exactly the wrong time. I was like, I think it was the same actually, because I think me, you, and Progar and Rita at the end were really so close. If
Yeah, we were.
would have been,
Everybody have a great night.
Yeah, good.